no fucking way.
Group hug.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Lily Pad. Today we're going to talk about anxiety because lots of people have it. We're going to talk about how it can manifest and things you can do to deal with it.
I'd like to kick this all off by saying our last mental health video we did, there was a comment that annoyed me so much I still remember it and I want to talk about it.
I'm so glad that you don't carry things with you.
This guy in the comments was like,
God, so many people are self-diagnosing themselves with stuff.
but the thing is, when it comes to anxiety, I really think you can self-diagnose. You know when you're feeling anxious.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling anxious all the time, if you're feeling uncomfortable, if you can't breathe, if you're feeling panicky, that's not normal and you have anxiety.
Don't panic!
It doesn't mean it's forever as well. It doesn't mean it's for the rest of your life.
No, I totally agree with you. I think, only you can know if you're feeling anxious. And if you say to someone,
I think I've got anxiety.
it's not up to them to go, I don't think you do. I don't think you do.
It just really annoyed me because I also understand that when it comes to mental health, it's one of the hardest things to do is get yourself to the doctor and get a diagnosis because, is that the word, diagnosis?
That's the one, yeah.
Because I find the doctors, this is just me personally, quite an intimidating place.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to go to a stranger and go, oh hi, this is all my feelings. When it comes to anxiety, I think you can know. Fuck that person in the comments.
They don't call me Dr. Rosie and I for nothing, bitch.
That's right.
I will say that for me, anxiety is probably the most debilitating, horrible feeling that I've actually experienced. Now, I've got OCD, which is an anxiety disorder, which means that it's very much triggered by being an anxious person and having that kind of disposition. Now, it comes in waves. At the moment, at this point in my life, it's particularly bad, which is why we thought about making this video.
Yeah.
The reason why we're making this video is because I want people to know that you can still live a really rich, fun life even with anxiety. Now, you might not believe that because at the time of a true panic attack, I had one the other day on the train home from London for what I can only assume was no reason. But it turns out I've been very, very stressed lately and it's very difficult to actually sometimes recognise that you're very, very stressed. What's going on? Why do I feel sick? Why can I not eat? Why aren't I sleeping? And it's actually just anxiety. I have lots of different symptoms of anxiety that I always assume are something else.
Yes.
That's what's really annoying.
You don't notice.
Rosie, why can't I breathe?
Yeah.
Rosie, why can't I eat?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, I'm just really, really anxious. It got to a point where I was like, I feel like I can't carry on like this without being in a really bad way.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, what can I do about this? And then I realised. When Rosie went to see her nutritionist, of all people, she taught me, because I went with Rosie to one of her appointments, how to come down from being very anxious very quickly.
My nutritionist is very good. She doesn't just talk about food, she talks about everything that affects the body. She taught us this breathing exercise,
She was
which
so
Rose
cool.
loves it.
I do,
and it really works.
Now, I know that a lot of people really, really think that breathing exercises are the one, that's the thing to do. But having said that, I'm really bad at it. I can't.
That's because when
do
you're
it.
anxious, you don't realise it, but one of the first things you get is shortness of breath.
Right.
You don't realise you're shallow breathing, really bad. You're going,
right, and I'm like,
you're
why
panicking.
can't I breathe?
Yeah.
And it's really difficult to come down from a high level of anxiety using breathing techniques, but it's one of the best ways to do it.
it sounds like, oh, just breathe. And if I was someone with anxiety, I'd be like,
Duh! Yeah, no fucking
but
way!
It really helps Rose. Rose, I would say, I have bad anxiety. Rose's, I would say, is worse. This 864 method, it's really helped Rose. For years you've used this now, it works. Please don't think we're condescending you. I know it won't solve all your problems.
It's like,
but in the short term,
it's like, oh, I think I'm drowning. Just breathe.
Just
breathe.
You've got depression.
Be
Be happier.
Be happier.
Yeah.
Be happier.
Just be happy. Have you tried smiling? Hard not to feel good when you're smiling.
Have you tried not being depressed?
Yeah.
Have you tried it? 864. You take an inhale of breath for 8 seconds, which is quite a long time.
It's really hard.
It's
so
really
basically,
long.
you're sucking a massive load of breath in. So shall I do it and you talk
Okay,
through it?
can you
Right,
count to 8 though?
You count and talk through it. Right,
just
right,
to make
right.
sure it's
ready.
all good. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 15, 16, 18, 24. Hold and breathe out for 4, 5, 10, 11, 16. Well done. How does that make you feel?
Oh my god, it's great. Actually.
It's brilliant.
It's a bit like drugs.
We do not endorse drugs on this channel, Rosie, unless prescribed by a doctor. Dr. Rose Ellen Dix to be.
He prescribed you the love drug.
The 864 method makes your breathing as if you were sleeping in a relaxed, very, very deep breath, slow breathing state. So your body is so physically relaxed that you can't really panic. Now for me, I'm not saying it's going to work for everyone. For me, that works really well for instant calm.
You ever can't get to sleep?
Yeah.
Right? breathe backwards and you get to sleep like that.
What does that mean?
So you normally breathe in for the nose, out for the mouth.
Yeah.
So you
I've
breathe.
never heard of breathing backwards.
It's really good.
Tell me all about
Gets
it.
you to sleep.
Tell
You
me
breathe in
about
through
it.
the mouth.
Yeah.
Out through the nose. So you're going it backwards.
That feels horrible.
Right, and you lay down. It's so difficult to do that it's tiring and you go to sleep.
Can I just say, I think you look younger as you get older.
Like, is that because I showed you that picture the other day where you were kissing my cheek? I know,
Yeah.
what happened?
I'm like,
Officer
oh my
Sexy
God.
came.
I mean, before you were
I look
like
better.
averaging out like a 6, now you're like a 10.
Oh my God, don't say that because I know you used to think I was a 10. Does you still think it?
I'm only poking funs.
Guys, rate my looks. With anxiety, and I think you have this as well, sometimes I don't know what it is straight away that's making me feel anxious, so I've got several techniques for this. So number one, talk it out. If you've got something to talk it through with, then talk it through with them. It's weird, I don't know why, but your body hides things from yourself. So you might have something's making you anxious, but say it's I don't know, something's not right at work and you feel really uncomfortable. I think what you try and immediately do is put it away.
Yeah.
Because you're like, this is making me feel bad.
Yeah.
Shove it away.
Yeah.
And that's actually the worst thing you can do.
I agree.
Because you've just still got something that's making you feel bad.
But you're burying
But
it.
you're burying it, but also you're prolonging it. Another example would be, say you had something horrible you didn't want to do. Like, say you had to make a phone call and you didn't want to ring up because you got anxiety or whatever. And you put it off and put it off and put it off. That's just as bad, and you've still got to make the call, right? Putting it off is just as bad. So you might as well just do it. Just make the call. And then it's done. It's more like the feelings around the thing that's making you anxious. So with the anxiety, something Rose taught me, and only really recently, is Rose was like, you have to meet things head on.
I don't want to have my brain flooded with all the worries that I tend to kind of put off through the day, and then it's always at night time that they come in, and that's my worst time.
Because you're relaxing, so you're putting stuff off throughout the day, you finally get to bed, and you're like tired, so you can't fight it anymore.
The worst time for me is bedtime.
Right, and this is why you have to face things, guys. It gets worse.
I think the more that people talk about this, it's so helpful for people suffering from it, because I've gone through a new type of anxiety over the last 6 months that I've never experienced before, even when my OCD was really bad when I was 16. This is the kind of anxiety that wakes me from a sleep. In fact, I stop breathing, so I actually have sleep
You've been waking
apnea
up
a little bit. My throat closes and I just go like that, right? It freaked me out so much because I didn't know why it was happening, and now I do. I'm just stressed, and it's literally as simple as that. Either it's workload,
you haven't been
or
doing as much. It's because you've been facing things.
That's true. But it's really scary, and I think sometimes that when you experience new things, you tend to freak out a lot because you've never experienced them before, and that's totally normal. It's really important to kind of like think, okay, I accept that this is happening. I accept it. I'm not going to push it away. I'm not going to deny it. That's okay. And talk to people about it. I understand why this is happening. Yeah, it sucks. It's really horrible. Like, I wake up and it feels like someone is standing on my chest and I just cannot breathe. And this horrible, dark feeling of dread kind of like encompasses my whole body and like drags me down from my bowels. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I can feel my heart all the time and my stomach.
Yeah,
and I'm like, ugh.
And I spoke to my sister about it because she has felt that way before in the past, and I think it is just called generalized anxiety. And I feel like people don't talk about generalized anxiety that much because they fear that people are just like, oh yeah, what, you anxious? Yeah, chill out.
Or they feel that it makes them look weak, but you're not weak. How come it's okay to have every other emotion? People get angry, people get sad, people are happy, people are in love. It's also okay to be anxious. It's just another feeling. People can relate in some way.
Oh, it's really triggering my OCD at the moment as well, because the more out of control I feel with the way that I feel, so if I'm flooded with anxiety, I feel like I can't control it very well, so I'll go and control all the things that I can do, such as ordering things, folding things, routine.
I actually think it helps you in a way though.
It's really, but it's getting us down a little bit. Like, I won't let you sit on the bed if I've made it.
She doesn't, babe, that's a standard.
Yeah, but lately, I'm like, no, I folded the edges, they are perfect. Don't sit on it. Like, I am impossible. I'm hard to live with.
Beds, guys.
I am. I mean, I'm perfect in a lot of ways, but I'm also quite difficult to live with.
Yeah, but I love you.
Actually, am I difficult to live with?
Yeah.
I mean, is it? Okay, hold on. Just hold on.
No,
just hold on one sec, because you live in a pristine environment. I mean, it is pristine. I'm like a sim that you give. That's a neat freak, and if there's mess over the house, their mood is just immediately like, no, I just can't. And if something else in my life goes wrong and there's mess, I literally just can't. I just can't. I can't even think about it. Like, we're about to go to New York. We're probably going to upload this when we're in New York, but I've given myself 5 days to mentally prepare for getting on a plane and going. The things I need to do.
Oh, but this is also, you also have the fear of flying.
Of course.
So this this is your OCD preparing for it.
It's true.
Because you were scared of flying.
Because
so you're like, right, okay, I'll
what
OCD.
can I control in between now and the time where I won't be in control? The whiteness of my shoes. That is a huge thing. You may laugh.
Yeah, she wrote about this in the book. She has to have her shoes perfectly white.
Did I write about it in the book or is it in the
Yeah.
documentary?
Oh, I can't remember.
My shoes have to be either A, brand new for a flight, or B, washed to the point where they look brand new. And I've been in airports where I've got a smudge or something on my shoe, or Rosie fucking stands on my foot and I'm like, get the fuck away from me. I have gone to buy baby wipes to clean them in the terminal. Like, that's how
She does. She sits there in terminal.
It has to be right. And like, I think my hand luggage, I'm about to go and clean my bag to put my hand luggage stuff in it. So I'm like, okay, everything is absolutely perfect before I get into
so
an
obviously you're going to have a
that I can't
fantastic
control.
flight because it's perfectly clean.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, well, if this plane goes down, my
you're
clothes
clean.
smell great, my shoes are white, and I'm like, do you know what? I've done everything I can to survive. Make sense? Exactly. It doesn't make sense. It's not linked and it's not rational, and I am intelligent enough to know that. Do you think that I can stop doing it at the moment? No. But in the past I have, and this is very important, because once, when we were doing the US tour, I saw a penny on the floor before I was about to get onto the plane, and I said to myself, if you don't pick up that penny, Rose, that plane is in jeopardy.
That was her OCD saying that to herself, by the way. Not everyone might think that.
That was
her
Rose
OCD
CD. That was
said-
Rose CD. And do you know what I said? I said, back up. No, I won't. Because if I do that, it's going to have no reasonable or rational link to anything happening to that plane.
Also, if you do that, you're then a slave to whatever else your mind
Exactly,
says. So
you
if
are
your mind then
enforcing
says, okay, now you have to touch this, else the plane will go down. You have to keep doing it.
Because then I will attribute picking up a penny and being safe and those things working together, and that is not the case. So I didn't pick it up, I got on the plane.
You did really good.
And I'm alive to tell the tale. And that was one of the biggest moments in my little OCD life. Just because I relapse with my shoes and with, you know, all that stuff, it doesn't mean that I can't overcome it again. It doesn't.
We mentioned talking out with a friend. If you don't have anyone to talk it out with, and you need to find out what's wrong, first of all, so you can face it or can think about it or can sit with it, is write it down. Write it down, okay? Now, I've always been a big fan of journals and diaries because my therapist told me to do it when I had alopecia. It's like talking to a friend, and it just helps you clarify your thoughts. But
It's
ages ago,
cathartic, isn't it?
yeah, I used to have really bad anxiety and I would never know what it was. I couldn't put my finger on it. I'd be like, I'm feeling bad and I don't know why. And Rose would make me do this thing, which was so helpful, where she'd say, write down all the areas in your life.
And take your clothes off.
And take my clothes off. And to find out what it is. So I'd write down my job, my family, friends, is it money, is it my relationship?
Yeah.
And then I could go, well, it's not my job.
Because you're a YouTuber and you
I don't have a job.
Yeah,
I don't have a
yeah.
job. It's not my friends. Oh, is it this? Is it, am I worried about this? Is it money? Is it this? And it helped me work out. Then you need to work out your triggers and patterns of behaviour. So, for example, something might trigger me, something might stress me. Oh, I've had a stressful email or something's happened. And then I have a pattern that I do. And I imagine lots of people do this, but I'm very self-destructive. I'm sure you can be self-destructive. The moment I get stressed, I do things like I'll eat food that's maybe bad for me, and when I say bad, I mean I'm actually intolerant to, or like I'm not hungry and I'm just putting food in my body, or I'll squeeze my skin, or I'll put off going to bed, I'll stay up late, which then I feel anxious still, and then I'm really tired, and then that also makes me not cope very well the next day. And you can rewire your brain, you can train yourself if you can identify your trigger, like that was a stressful thing. I'm gonna breathe for 5 minutes, or I'm gonna go walk my dog.
For me, one of the hardest things to do is to train my mind into being relaxed. I think it is one of the hardest things.
If it was easy, we'd all be chilled out.
Exactly. I don't want anyone to think like, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it, I've fallen again, like I haven't overcome it again, because
that's progress, my friend.
Exactly. At the moment, I am really not on top of it. I see it as, 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Because
I do that
that's
all the
gotta
time.
be life. You're not just gonna overcome something forever. I mean, you might do.
Also, you're human,
Brilliant.
and so you're not going to do something perfectly 100% of the time. And then external influences, stress, anxiety, triggers.
Right. One of the biggest moments in my life was when I didn't realise I had OCD until I did realise. And my dad said to me, you could be suffering for like a number of years. And I said, oh, okay. And it was kind of the best thing that I could have heard. If you're a very anxious person, I know you might think, well, that's a big failure of mine, but it's not a failure.
No,
it just means
it will make you stronger.
Exactly.
Also, it means you're a very sensitive person, and you're empathetic, and you're aware.
You're aware.
Yeah.
You're woke.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, a lot of people know that anxiety is very common. That doesn't
lessen its
or
impact
lessen
on
how
yourself.
difficult it can be to cope with, because it is a real fucking bitch,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Like, it really is.
Like, life is hard enough.
My point is, I don't want people to think, oh, I'm anxious now, I'll always be this way, I can never go back to how I was, because you will, because that's you. It's just one of these little demons that just, like, fucking thoughts you up a little bit. It's like, do you want to just fuck off, though? Do you know what I mean? Do you just fuck off? But it will fuck off. It might come back. And then you're like, do you want to fuck off? I know people talk about anxiety and people say, oh, you're not alone. But, like, I really worry that people think, oh, my version of anxiety, no one can relate to that. It's either very dark or it's hard to explain and it's not very relatable. But every person's issues are different, and I think that everybody suffers in a real variety of ways, and I think that all of it can be kind of like can live under the umbrella of anxiety and stress. I mean, there are so many other external pressures nowadays, you know, and I just think, God, anybody is going to feel stressed out at some point in their lives, and it's, you know,
you also have to try and remember simple things, but they really make me happy. I might like be really I like it how you're holding it for this video. I know, because it's like talking about lots of deep stuff. Sometimes I think, you know, I get really, really anxious, really, really stressed, but I go, okay, well, I've got a wonderful wife, I've got a nice life, I've got a roof over my head, I can afford my meals, you know, I can eat, and just strip it back sometimes as well and think, I'm okay, I'm alive, I'm breathing, I'm doing this. It's so easy with anxiety, it makes you think that everything's just doomed and that it's never going to be okay and that your life is over.
But nothing is forever as well. So I think the main points within this video, nothing is forever. You're not alone. Work out what's wrong. Try and identify it and face it. Try and know your triggers and your patterns. Talk to someone and write it down.
Accept
and another
that
way,
it's happening and be like, okay.
Also research it, because with my post-traumatic distress, is it distress?
You didn't research it very well, did you?
I joined some groups on like Reddit and stuff like that. It's fantastic because they'll talk about stuff that I didn't know was a thing. And I'm like, I have that. And it's a symptom, and I didn't know. Literally just the thought that you're validated and other people go through this similar thing. It's like, yeah, cool, I feel stronger now. Also, don't forget the 864 breathing method, and also try and be really present and mindful. If you're really, really worried, try and get out of it by focusing on things around you. Colours, smells.
Yeah, all the senses.
All the senses.
I did this all the time, and my therapist made me go to Costa Rica, which, it's not around me, but she made me think, what was the smell of it? What was the feel of the sand, the heat? And
she didn't make you buy a holiday to Costa Rica.
No, she took me mentally back to Costa Rica because it was my safe place.
Imagine being in Costa Rica with Dr. Jill.
I mean, that's what I literally was, because she was talking to me and I was in Costa Rica, but it was amazing.
She dumped you.
Try and be in the present. Like Rose said, think of all your senses, or just learn things that you can do that make you feel really relaxed. So for me, playing video games, after a few minutes, I'm like, whoa, I didn't realise, but it's really calmed me down. Find things that you love, that you enjoy, that help a little bit.
Masturbation.
That actually works.
I know, so I said it.
Serotonin.
Alright guys, don't forget to be kind to yourself. Like, comment and subscribe if you want to see more videos from us. And
comment below if you like the mental health videos, let us know. And also what you'd like us to talk about next, or if we can continue with anxiety. Just let us know.
If you find these videos helpful, let us know, and we will see you this time next week. Mwah!
Bye!
Bye!